We're seeing continued chop in the crypto markets, and everyone's wondering, when will it end, right? Is this price manipulation? We'll talk about that as well in today's show. We'll have a look at the state of Bitcoin and where it's most likely going next. So smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get straight into it. Don't be fooled by the rotational game, right? If you have a look over here, you can see Cake obviously pumping, BNB is also up. There has actually been a mass rotation which is going into that ecosystem over there. Remember, you can always go on to Banter Bubbles over here if you want to find out why things are pumping. You can actually just click on the bubble over there and you can go in and you'll see the exact reasons for why it's been going up, right? So something to do with the revenue share of holders or something like that. Go through, play around over there, but don't be fooled by the rotational game, right? Because it's exactly that. Right now, we're still struggling to see the total cryptocurrency market cap move towards the upside, which would mean new money coming into the market, which still means that we are on the hunt for at least a major low within the market following what's been a pretty brutal correction, right? And a lot of the volatility is also based around what's happened with the CPI. Yesterday, it came out at 0.1 higher than expected, showing an uptick in inflation. That's year-on-year inflation over there. Jerome Powell also did testify. He didn't say as many bearish things as what he said the day before that, which was on Tuesday, where he basically crushed the crypto bros' hopes and dreams of quantitative easing. But I'll show you as well in today's show why you can still theoretically see prices run, even if they delayed quantitative easing all the way into some point into next year, right? There's still the possibility, and it's due to one chart. I'll bring that up as well in today's show. And then what are we looking forward to next? Well, we have, of course, today is Thursday. Trump will be speaking. He does seem to speak a lot lately. So we'll see if he has anything to say about the markets. I know that he's, of course, against Jerome Powell in the sense of saying that they should start to cut interest rates more aggressively. And then more importantly, though, we have the core PPI data, which is coming out, as well as the US unemployment claims. And that could just be an extra piece of the puzzle that we could start to put in place to see what may happen next with the inflation, right? Stock market is still looking okay, despite the stock market actually being in a fearful zone, similar to crypto. A lot of the sentiment is very, very fearful, but you got about 1.26% away before making new all-time highs. So if you're somebody that has exposure to the stock market and you are fearful, I don't think it's a bad place to be fearful, because it's a pretty easy invalidation, right? All you have to do is see that. Get back above here, hold there, and you can re-long again. So what are you risking? You're risking only about a 1% at least opportunity cost, right? So very, very, very easy trade over there. If you are in the stock market, just get back above the prior highs over there. It means your opportunity cost is missing out on 1% or so move, and then you can jump back in, right? If we look at Tesla, well, the blue box is the area of interest, so it is still coming down despite the little bit of a push that you had up over here yesterday. You can see immediate rejection starting to come down. We'll have a look later today. Remember, my live show is not during the US market open, so you need to see when the US market opens. Are you going to get a continuation of this downtrend? I think more than likely you will, right? I think that eventually you're going to hit just sub $300, probably around that 293 is going to be the midpoint of that fair value gap taken from a weekly time frame, where we think some support will be found. Now, what is the price manipulation? What's going on? Well, Marty Potty's been reporting on it quite extensively. We've brought up multiple times on the show, and basically showcasing how Binance may have been suppressing prices. And now we have an answer for maybe why that is the case, right? He says, have Binance paid their DOJ $4.3 billion fine by selling and moving crypto to Coinbase? And that's where essentially they're executing these sell orders. Well, it is possible if you dive into their proof of reserves over here and you do the math, right? It appears to seem so that there is some money that's at least moved out of Binance and moved to Coinbase, probably, well, at least speculatively, to pay back that fine. So creating a little bit of sell pressure within the market, absolutely rinsing a lot of traders within this chop over here. But we have to talk about some very, very important things. I think this is personally, to me, one of the most important charts in crypto right now, because otherwise, the crypto market just tends to be this wish-washy machine where money is flowing from one coin into the next. So, one day you're happy because your coin goes up, the next day you're sad because your coin goes down, and it's really just a washing machine rotational game. And the way that we can see when that actually is going to end is based on this chart, right? We have to see new volume coming back into the market. It is just rejecting and constantly coming down over here. And now, in fact, you actually have a downtrend with lower lows and lower highs. At least previously we're putting in those high lows, but now as per the last high low that we put in over here on the 31st of January, you've officially lost that level in terms of the volume. Now you're probably going to spike up because either way you need to put in a lower high or a high, but so it means either way that you should get a bit of a spike over here in the daily exchange volume. But until this properly reverses, it's incredibly difficult for the crypto market to run. And that's why we have to have a look at the volume, right? We're going to have a look at the volume profile on the daily chart in just a moment. One thing that I will also highlight is a little bit of hope here. If the bulls can get volume back into the market and defend some of those key levels. If you look at the 3-day time frame, well, we have, using a very simple indicator like the stochastic RSI, when it has had a cross up, we have seen some sizable bounces, right? That was a 90% move over here. This one was an 18% move over here, which is still pretty decent, right? If you look at this one from the low to the high over there, that was about a 23% move. And then when this one crossed towards the upside over there, that was a pretty big move, right? A 98%. So it seems like you're ranging between about 20% to 90% move based off of the cross to the upside of the stochastic RSI. So currently we are caught at the bottom of the trading range. And as long as bulls can hold that, and they're fighting tooth and nail, really attempting to hold this, if they can hold that and you put in, 20% move, that will break you out of the trading range. If you go for the full 90% move like we've seen previously, I'm definitely not banking on that, but that would be huge. That would be like $177,000 Bitcoin. So we're still waiting. At the end of the day, it's range bound. You can see it crystal clear, right? This is your downsloping trend line over here, which we did break out of. I'll just quickly highlight it once again. So your downsloping trend line over there, you broke out of it, you put in the high, and you just keep riding that trend line down, right? So theoretically, in the short term, things are downtrending. Bulls are struggling to get above the points of control. You can see the white line that runs all the way across the screen over here. That is your points of control. $97,385 is the level. And we want to see bulls get back and hold above this. If they can't get back and hold above this, there is the real possibility based on this as well. The daily exchange volume being low just shows that there's no momentum in the market. There's no volume in the market. And that means it's easy to continue to manipulate prices. And ultimately, in low volume environments, you can very easily see prices roll over, right? Reset. That creates the massive reset. And you have a lot of longs that logical stops will be placed underneath that Monday low over there, which means that's a massive amount of liquidity on the daily time frame, where if the volume doesn't come back into the market, you could easily break down into that zone. As we spoke about yesterday on the show, I did say that, you have this, void within the volume profile over here. You can see here's your volume profile. There's your void. And these are going to act like support zones, right? It can act like a magnet as well, where you could see price draw into this level. That is unfortunately still a real possibility until such time as bulls can defend and hold price above this level. If they can do that, you'll create a high low. But we can only have full confirmation of that once we start to take out this zone over here, which is where the original breakdown happened that sent prices down to that Monday low, right? That was not this Monday, but the previous Monday. That was the original Monday low. You would need to see prices getting back above that breakdown point over there. Until that happens, this becomes a no trade zone. Probably better to be positioned in cash at that point in time to wait for a definitive answer. Number one, either you break down and you come down lower, which means you get a lower entry for the rest of the bull market, or number two, the safer play would be break and hold above this zone over here, getting above that breakdown level, thus confirming that this is a major low within the market. And then you're looking at continuation. Of course, buying higher means that you have some sort of an opportunity cost, right? But for some people, that may be the better option, right? Your opportunity cost means you're probably going to be buying from current levels around 6.5% higher. So volume dropping off, not a good sign. We need bulls to step up. Volume is probably one of the most important things to be watching right now. And we've highlighted extensively the key levels also in yesterday's show. And very little is going to change on this, this, right? If you do start to suck down into that little volume void over here that we have below, it lines up with a lot of these key levels. First bounce area is going to be coming in at 90,000. And then if you lose that the second time, well, then your next major supports all line up around that high volume zone over here. I would be looking to possibly even buy around that $82,000 to about $85,000 level. We have multiple levels of confluence. And I told you yesterday, the one that I like the most is taking the Fibonacci level from the low over here. So I'll highlight that for you quickly. We took it from the low to the high, and then we've measured out where is the golden pocket, which is always the 0.618 to 65. You can see it written over there, and that simultaneously lines up with a couple of other key factors, right? So that 618 is at $83,047, which is literally a smidge, a little tick below the daily fair value gap. You have a weekly fair value gap above that, and then just below the daily, you have a monthly fair value gap, which means ample support. There's a lot of support over there, right? So this is your consequence. This will be the consequence. The consequence of a lack of volume coming back into the market will create apathy, and that ultimately means that price can roll over into the zone. So what that means is you need to make preparations according to whatever your portfolio looks like. You probably have to manage risk. One of the ways that I've done that is I've tried to consolidate a lot of my altcoin positions into Bitcoin, which means that I can very easily and quickly cut this position if things do start to show that they're most likely going to roll over, right? And you can see over here, constant rejections from, of course, the 9 and 18 exponential moving average, which shows that in the short term, the bears continue to maintain control. But we are looking for an inflection point as well, remember, based on the bull moon, that maybe, just maybe, they can turn this around somewhere within the 2-week period. But it's a question of when within that 2-week period, right? Do you do this first, right? You could do this first. You could do something like that first and still turn around within the 2-week period. And that's what you need to be careful of. So it's been a lot of chop, right? If this creates a bearish engulfing candle, that will increase the probability that you're going to go for that stop hunt over there, taking out the long traders that managed to place their stops over here. You would, the market makers would essentially be targeting that, right? And then again, major support below with the 200 EMA and the 200 MA. So those are the main things that I'm looking at. And it's been very frustrating price action, right? I'll show you more so on the hourly time frame as well. Well, let's actually do that right now. Well, firstly, 4-hour time frame, right? Constantly just riding this 50 EMA towards the downside. There's your 200 EMA above. For trending moves, you really want to be above those. You want the 50 to be angled above the 200 EMA and cross towards the upside, right? So if you look at the hourly over here, this is super frustrating price action because you can see yesterday, a lot of the market capitulated out of their positions, probably exactly on this candle as was trading around the low over there, for the candle to only rally towards the upside on the hourly, and probably everyone to FOMO back into the positions. And now you're rinsing them once again, right? This shows like massive manipulation within the price, right? It's very illiquid and very easy to manipulate, right? So now it's starting to look like a high possibility that you're going to start to break below this wick over here, which should happen in pretty much, I would say, today, right? Today, you can expect that there's a high chance that you're going to break below this level over there. And that means, well, now you're looking towards your next wick lows and your range lows as major support over there. But what could save the market, right? Well, one thing that could save it is possibly the DXY breaking down. As Wolf says over here, he says the narrative that we have to have QE for ETH or altcoin season is built on a narrow perspective. In fact, if you look at 2017 bull run, QE wasn't a factor at all within that cycle. And that was actually, I was there, right? That was one of the biggest bull runs that we've ever had. And he says what really drives these bull runs is a very weak DXY. That's the metric that you have to watch. And you can actually look over here, right? That was the DXY breaking down. And this definitely was one of the biggest rallies that we've had. So when you pull up the DXY, we have been focused on this for quite some time. This is your upsloping trend line because this is the $1 million question, or even in some cases, multi-billion-dollar question is, where's the liquidity going to come from, right? What is the liquidity? How is the liquidity going to come back into the market and drive any sort of a rally? And this could be one of your answers, right? So you have essentially rejected twice from that golden pocket over there, the 0.618 and the 65. You are range bound, very, very similar to Bitcoin. But what could break Bitcoin out of the top side of the trading range would simultaneously be the DXY breaking below the bottom of its trading range, which is losing this yellow level, right? You lose this yellow line over here and you'll be creating a series of low lows and lower highs. And then you can look to establish your positions on the next lower high, which might be that back test into prior support, now testing as resistance. And then you get your markdown phase, right? Just giving you some higher time frame perspective of what we're looking at over here. And what I'll do is I'll highlight this just below. Let's just quickly throw that in. 1 second over there. So, okay, I think I have to refresh this, guys. Give me 1 second. Let's just quickly do a refresher over here so I can show you exactly what I am looking at. So there it is. Okay, cool. Let's pull that. There we go. So this is going to be the lower level of the trading range. I see a copy of the whole chart on there. That is super interesting. There we go. So this is the lower boundary of the range. That is your range low. And ultimately, if you did see this as the deviation, that's what we've been planning for. That's what we've been waiting for. And that is what we've seen in the price cycles, right? Break below, hold this. And despite not having QE, this definitely could generate a massive rally, right? And when you sweep the bottom of the range low, that's probably where the cycle comes to its end. So pay attention, watch for this. It's a real possibility, and it can happen very, very quickly, because if you just look at this price move from the bottom to the top, this happened super quick. This is a daily chart, which means, you know, this took 105 days for that entire move to play out, which means, you know, if you did something similar, 105 days, well, look how quick that could happen, right? That would line up somewhere around near May, that you would reach the bottom. That's assuming it follows the same trajectory over there. Okay, so also having a look at Bitcoin dominance, one of the reasons that I've also decided to consolidate into more a Bitcoin position to just control my risk over here is got a lot to do with this, the fair value gap, which is currently situated on the daily time frame for Bitcoin dominance. I think at least you're probably going to get a short-term bounce. Hopefully what you're going to see is a bounce from the fair value gap into yet another lower high, which would therefore be over there. And then you can start to break down. If you do break down, you can only fully confirm that there will be any sort of an altcoin season when you actually take out this low, right? Which means you need to see Bitcoin dominance breaking below 58.59%. That will create a new swing low. The next bounce up that sets in the lower high, wherever that may be, we'll reevaluate once that does actually happen. You know, it could be as high as this, it could be as low as that. But once that happens, that leg down, this is going to be your best high probability play, moving aggressively into the altcoin sector. So there is still a bit of time. Again, expectation would be a move down into here and a bounce, right? And it just, is it going to lead into a lower high or not? If it does continue all the way back to hit the 50% of the wick fill, which we haven't yet seen, we saw it on USDT dominance, but not on Bitcoin dominance. If we did get that kind of a move, that is, of course, going to create additional pain, right? That is definitely going to create additional pain within the market. So here's your very, very short-term chart, right? We've come very, very close to taking out that wick again, just showing it to you on a 15-minute time frame. Look at this massive candle over here. Earlier on this morning, I was looking to see, is it going to hold here round about the 50% level and the 0.382, but very weak, right? Just fell straight through. So in the short term, the bears do continue to remain in control. And that's why you're seeing prices are down, which means you have to open up the possibility, unfortunately, that in a worst case scenario, you could see price come down, to 85K. That's still a possibility. But I think we'll have a lot more information this week. What would change that? If somehow by the end of the week over here, before Bitcoin closes its weekly candle, you can see prices closing up here above $100,000, that will drastically shift the outlook and drastically increase the chances that, in fact, there has been a higher low, right? Until that happens, we can't say with any certainty that bulls have any control. But in fact, the probability remains much, much higher that bears are in control, right? We can see exactly that. So if you look at the deltas, they're mixed at the moment, slightly positive on Bitcoin, slightly positive on ETH. This is not necessarily a good sign in the short term, because if it's positive and prices are still struggling to move up, it means that you can squeeze the short-term longs out of their position and move prices down, right? So you have to be aware of that. That is, of course, dropped over here with the explanation daily in the institutional chart section of the Whale Room group, right? Our traders are crushing it over there. Chris is one of them. You can see over here taking trades, both long on Hype, 32% up, short on Solana, 80% up over there. If you guys do want to follow along, this is, of course, people that have followed him, right? Kwang over there also absolutely crushing it, taking the same trades. There's a link in the description below that will take you through to that. And then also a reminder, any of you that are on Blowfin, you would have automatically been entered into this competition if you signed up using one of the links in the description. If you haven't already, use the link in the description below because there's no KYC, and this is a $5.6 million prize pool. So you can win up to $5.6 million over there. The competition actually begins in 5 hours, right? 5 hours, 31 minutes to go. You will not be able to participate unless you register before this time zone, right? So there's a link below. It will take you through to Blowfin. You're getting up to 50% as well cash back on all your trades. So this is actual money straight back into your account that you can withdraw. It's not a sign-up bonus. It's not something that expires. Whatever you trade with, you'll get 50%. Remember, all these exchanges charge fees. You'll be getting that back as a commission if you use that link, and then you can enter into the competition. Simultaneously, that can also get you into Whale School, right? Use that user ID as your entry into Whale School. We're taking signups now, 6 hours left to go, right? Cool. So quickly looking over here at the total cryptocurrency market cap, as well as total 2, 3, others, etc. Let's have a look at and see the health of this. So again, all invalidations remain below the Monday wick low. Pretty much any coin that you're looking at across the board, that is going to be where the invalidations are. The only problem with that is that there is a lot of liquidity over there because this has been an obvious level and people have actually had a lot of time to enter into those positions. So holding above the neckline over here in total 2, these things take time, right? Don't expect V-shaped recoveries out of here. But if this is in fact going to hold, you might see this over the coming weeks, chopping about it like that, which means that it could take some time before this really starts to accelerate on total 2. And hopefully while all of that happens, you start to see the volume coming back into the market, which we are yet to see, right? So total 3 as well, also same vibe, invalidations below the wick low over there. Others looks a little bit worse for wear because you've lost the neckline, right? As soon as you broke back, but below that, this started to capitulate pretty aggressively. So signs of strength will come back in if you can get above this, the prior breakdown level, which is going to be around that $330 to $345 billion mark, right? Quickly having a look at total 3 against Bitcoin. So still struggling over there. It does have the chance, remember, to put in its first high low on a closing basis. If you transition this onto a line chart, there is the opportunity over there. But again, a lot of work still to be done over there. Others has hit the zone. We're getting a little bit of a green reaction. Again, this will take some time, right, to start to move out of the zone over there. So that is looking okay. ETH against BTC also showing small signs of life, but a long way away before recovering and getting above those lower highs, right, reversing the trend over there. So for those of you that do want to play the altcoin market, I also do want to remind you, remember Commonwealth, they provide you the opportunity to get access to VC-like deals. That's Commonwealth. They're now also offering bundles, right? So it's kind of like an index over here. If you look at this over here, it's kind of like an index. They're investing into whatever the top 5 coins are, whether normal cryptocurrency market cap, meme coins, etc. Check it out. Go through to their Twitter over there, Commonwealth Twitter over there. Let's just quickly go double check the link. It's join Commonwealth, right? Join Commonwealth, WLTH, and you can go check that out for those of you that are already part of Commonwealth. Now there's bundles, right? So they'll manually adjust those bundles, right, as per whatever coins are moving up and down. That way you stick with strength. Okay. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else. What else you want to have a look at over there? I know there's a lot of questions around GOKU. GOKU's still looking okay here, putting in the possibility of a high low. They're listed on CoinMarketCap now as well, so you can go and check them out over there. Share it with your friends. This is still holding up, so I still have a lot of conviction in this particular project, and I still hold all of my tokens because we got a generational entry, right? Sub $1 million. So still continuing to hold that. I think today is going to be really important to drive the next move. Sometimes they take PPI more seriously in terms of deciding the next, inflation raise or cut, and that's going to be coming out today. So keep an eye on that. Let's leave it at that, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. I will be answering the questions for those of you in Whale Room that have tagged me in the Ask the Question section. Just give me a bit of time. I'll answer some of them today and the rest of them all tomorrow. I'll catch you all on the next one. Hope you have a great day, everyone, and cheers for now.